and welcome back to Batch Programming Lesson 2. In this lesson we will be learning the set command and different versions of the set command like user input and calculations. Now set command will store a value to a variable. Basically what that means is that say you wanted to set a test, the variable is called test, and you wanted to set that equal to 5. Basically, it would store that. It would store. Oh, sorry for my phone again. It would store the number 5 in test. Simple, right? But this is also useful for if you're making a program that has different versions and you keep updating it and put it for download. Which I'm sorry to explain, but if you could like put the text up in like a zip file or something, because it is indeed against the law to actually upload batch files to the internet. But that's just what it says, so I'm just giving you guys a warning here. Basically, if your thing has different versions and you just keep uploading it every time you update it, then you don't want to go through it where every time you put the version number, you don't want to go through it and just keep changing all of them. That would take forever, right? That's why you store it in a variable. So say your version is 1.0. Set version equals 1.0. This will set 1.0 to the value, to the basically the variable version. So that way, if say you're saying echo game title here version percent. By the way, percent sign and then the variable name, then another percent that calls the variable that it actually echoes out what it's set to. So basically, if we were to run this, if we had a pause, it would say game title here version 1.0. So basically, in order to call a variable, you put percent signs around it. But that's what it can be useful for. Now, before we get started on here, we need to learn the 3 different types of set commands. There's set, set/p, and set/a. What set does is it just sets the variable. It just sets it to whatever you define while you're editing the batch file in Notepad++ or whatever text editor you are using. I recommend Notepad++. If you want to know how to install that, see my first video on batch scripting, that is. Set/p will prompt the user to input something. So basically the user can actually input an option. And this is really useful with if statements, which we will learn later on in batch scripting. Set/a, however, makes a calculation. So say you have 2 variables, test and test2. You set test, which is the first one, to 5, and test2 to 2. If you type set/a total equals, then you call the variable test plus sign, call the variable test2, and then you echo it out on the screen, it'll say 7. So basically it adds the numbers together to whatever you put here, which would be the actual name that you call for the total number. Those are the 3 different versions. We will use all 3 of these in today's basic write. Now, today's basic write is going to be simple, okay? Oh, there's one other thing I need to teach you first, is how to skip lines. So remember how you echo hi, and then like you went to the next, in order to go to the next line, you type, just enter, and then echo again. Well, if you wanted to go down more than one line, like say you wanted it, that you didn't want it right below it, you wanted it 2 lines down. This is where echo dot comes in. Now, I don't know the actual technical term for this, but it just skips the line, okay? I call it echo dot. But don't put a space, just put a period right after echo, as if you were typing it in like a 1-word sentence, which would be not very English of you, if you know what I mean. But anyways, that's what that does. Alright, so let's start. Let's set test 5. Now let's skip a line down. Now let's echo out that variable, which would be test. Then once you echo that out, you want to skip another line, set test2 to 2, for goodness sake. Okay. Then you skip another line. I'm trying to make it to where you can see it kind of better because I tried recording this tutorial with a different recording thing and it just did not work. But anyways, I just said that. What the heck? Anyways, again, oh my gosh. So after that, after you set that, you're gonna want to make it add the two of them together, right? Well, after you echo this out on the screen, of course. Alright. Now, here's where the set /a comes in. You want to make a total, right? Make sure you put set /a total equals, call the first variable, which is test, then the second one, which is test2, but make sure you put a plus sign in between them. Like so. Then we're going to skip a line. We're going to echo out our total. And then we're going to skip another line. Then we're going to have a user input something. So set /p. Let's make it add, because we're going to add another number to it. Then put quotes around it. I recommend to put quotes around it. You don't have to. They can't be single quotes. They have to be double quotes. So just make sure to put quotes around it if you want to be more, you know, I don't know what the word is for it, so I'm just going to skip it. You don't have to have quotes, but you can if you want. And then let's just have them say number to add, and then it'll prompt them to that. They enter the number and then they press enter, and then it stores it in add. Now we add them back together. So set /a total 2, or you can just do total again if you want. It doesn't really matter. And then you put % total %. Now here's where this might confuse you a bit. Alright, so you're probably saying, well, if it goes from top to down and it reads from left to right, it'll set the variable before you can call the old one. That is actually not true. It doesn't set this until it reaches the entire end line. So basically, if you call total before it reaches that % sign, which it will call it at right when it hits that % sign, you can basically just call a different variable and set it as the same variable. I know I might be confusing you, and I'm sorry. If you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to post in the comments section, and I or some random user that just watches this video might help you. Will help you, actually, because I keep updated very often. Anyways, back to the point. It doesn't set this. It doesn't set the total. Like, it doesn't set... I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Jeez. It will not set this until it has went to the next line, actually. I think that's how it works. But you can still call old variables within the new variable that you're making with the same exact name. So, yeah, I think I'm done with that. Total plus our add, and then we will echo out % total again, which should be by then a different number than 7. I can just tell you that. And then we're going to pause. And that's what we just did with a bunch of set and echo commands, okay? This was a very sloppy sort of thing I just sort of decided to write up here, so you can be creative with this if you want, but all you need to know, actually the only commands that you need to know are the pause, set, and echo commands to make a calculator. Like, you can literally make yourself a calculator, but it's only like addition. You can make like different versions of it though. Like, for instance, let's see, plus is plus, dash is minus, slash is divide, and the little star above the 8 is multiply. So yeah, that's what it is. Now if we save this and we run it, it'll echo our first number, which is 5. Sorry, I got a cold. It'll echo our first number that we set to test, which is 5. It'll echo, then it'll skip a line, 2 lines actually, and it'll echo our second variable, which was under test 2, and it was 2. Then it'll add those together to echo out 7. Now it prompts us for a number to add. So if we add 3 and hit enter, it'll echo out 10, and then it'll say press any key to continue. So I'm just going to press a bunch of keys, and voila, that was the set command, user set, and the calculation set command. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe on my channel, and more tutorials will be coming soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.